I, 28 female, have been engaged to my now husband James, 30 male, for a year. We've been together for 6 years and our relationship has always been stable and supportive. The situation with my family began when we announced our wedding date 3 months ago at a regular Sunday dinner at my parents' house. We had chosen an October date for our wedding, ideal for the outdoor venue we'd found. The planning was going well. We'd secured most of our vendors and were about to send out save the dates. My sister Zoe, 32 female, was even helping with some of the planning, suggesting florists and sharing wedding Pinterest boards with me. For background, Zoe and her husband have been trying to conceive for about 4 years. They've gone through several rounds of IVF and my parents have been very involved in supporting them through this journey. They've helped with medical appointments, research, and from what I understand, some of the financial aspects too. I've also tried to be there for her when I can, though I work full-time and live in a different part of the city. A week after our wedding announcement, Zoe shared her news at another family dinner. She was pregnant. Everyone was genuinely happy for her, including me and James. We stayed late that evening celebrating, and I remember thinking how nice it would be to have a new niece or nephew shortly after our wedding. The next morning, my mom called asking if I could come over to discuss something important. When I arrived, both my parents were sitting at the kitchen table with serious expressions. They explained that Zoe's pregnancy was considered high risk due to her previous fertility issues, and they needed to focus all their attention on helping her through the next 9 months. They suggested I should postpone the wedding until after the baby arrives. I explained that we had already paid non-refundable deposits for the venue and several vendors. Their solution was that we could have a small courthouse ceremony instead, and they would help us plan a bigger celebration after the baby was born. When I hesitated, they brought up how Zoe had struggled for years while I'd had an easier path in life, and this was my chance to support her. The conversation was frustrating because they weren't really listening to my perspective. They had already decided what needed to happen and expected me to agree. When I told them I needed time to think about it and discuss it with James, they seemed disappointed. Over the next few days, I received multiple texts from extended family members. Apparently, my parents had shared their concerns about my lack of sensitivity to Zoe's situation. My aunt called to tell me how stressed Zoe was about my stubbornness, and my grandmother sent a long email about family priorities. After discussing it thoroughly with James, we decided to proceed with our original wedding plans. I called my parents to explain our decision calmly. I told them I was happy for Zoe and would support her pregnancy journey, but I didn't see why that had to mean completely derailing our wedding plans. They didn't take it well. My mom said I was being selfish and immature, while my dad expressed disappointment in my attitude. The situation deteriorated from there. They became increasingly passive-aggressive, making comments about how they hoped I wouldn't regret my decision and how Zoe needed to avoid stress. After 2 weeks of this, James and I made the difficult decision to adjust our guest list. We removed my parents and several family members who had been pressuring us about the situation. My mom's sister, Aunt Rachel, who had always been reasonable and supportive, stepped in to help with traditional mother of the bride duties. The wedding went ahead as planned in October. It was a lovely day, though bittersweet without my immediate family there. Zoe didn't attend, citing morning sickness, though she posted pictures at a baby store the same day. My parents sent a brief congratulatory text the following day. Now, 2 months after the wedding, they're suddenly acting as if nothing happened. They're sending invitations to family dinners and trying to involve us in planning Zoe's baby shower. When I declined these invitations, explaining that I needed time to process everything that had happened, they became angry. They're telling family members that marriage has made me egotistical and that I'm being petty. I responded by informing them that just as they chose to give Zoe their undivided attention for 9 months, I'm choosing to take a year to focus on my marriage and mental well-being. They called this response childish and accused me of trying to compete with Zoe's pregnancy. The situation has created a rift in our extended family with people taking sides. I don't think I'm being unreasonable by maintaining some distance after how they handled the situation, but I'd appreciate outside perspectives. James supports my decision but says I should do whatever I feel is right for my mental health. Update 1. I appreciate the thoughtful responses and advice I received on my original post. Several things have happened in the past few days that have provided more context to the situation, and I felt it was important to share these developments. My Aunt Rachel called me for our usual weekly catch-up, and she shared some information that helped explain my parents' behavior, though it doesn't excuse it. According to her, my parents took out a second mortgage on their house about 6 months ago to help fund Zoe's final round of IVF. This decision has put them under significant financial strain, and they had apparently been counting on using some of the money they'd initially promised for my wedding to help cover Zoe's upcoming medical expenses and baby preparations. This information was surprising, but made sense of certain things I'd noticed. For instance, their sudden insistence on a courthouse wedding aligned with when the mortgage payments would have started. They'd also been eating at home more often and had postponed their annual vacation, which I'd attributed to wanting to be available for Zoe. The financial aspect wasn't actually relevant to our wedding plans, since James and I had already decided to cover most expenses ourselves. We both have stable jobs and had been saving for this. Their promised contribution would have been appreciated, but wasn't crucial to our budget. What bothers me is their lack of transparency. A simple conversation about their financial situation would have been better than the guilt-tripping and emotional manipulation they chose instead. Zoe has been quite active on social media lately, posting daily pregnancy updates. Most of these are typical expectant mother posts, though some contain veiled references to family loyalty and understanding what really matters in life. While these posts seem to garner supportive comments from relatives, including our parents, I've noticed that several family members have reached out to me privately expressing concern about the situation. On a more constructive note, I've been spending more time with my mother-in-law, Linda. She's become something of a mentor through this situation, sharing her own experiences with family conflicts. She dealt with similar issues 30 years ago when her sister expected her to postpone her wedding because of a family illness. Her insight has been practical and grounded, focusing on maintaining relationships while establishing healthy boundaries. James suggested we try couples therapy to ensure we're handling this in a way that's healthy for our marriage. We've had 2 sessions so far with Dr. Anderson, who specializes in family dynamics. She's provided some useful tools for managing family stress and recommended we each write down our thoughts about the situation rather than letting them build up. This exercise has helped me realize that some of my reactions are rooted in long-standing family patterns rather than just the current situation. An unexpected development came from my cousin Riley, who's currently in community college. She reached out after seeing some family members discussing my situation in a group chat. Riley shared that she had experienced similar pressure from the family 2 years ago. She had received a scholarship to an out-of-state university, but was strongly encouraged to decline it because Zoe needed family support during her fertility treatments. Riley chose to attend the local community college instead and has been quietly resentful about it. We've had several long conversations about setting boundaries and managing family expectations. Yesterday, I received a lengthy email from my parents. The content was essentially a detailed inventory of ways they've supported me throughout my life, from paying for my braces in middle school to helping with my first apartment security deposit. They included an explanation of why Zoe's needs take priority right now, citing her medical history and the stress of a high-risk pregnancy. The email concluded with an offer to move past my attitude if I would apologize and resume attending family functions. They also mentioned that Zoe's baby shower planning is underway and suggested this would be a good opportunity to show maturity by participating. After discussing it with James, I've decided not to respond to the email immediately. Dr. Anderson pointed out that my parents' message focuses entirely on transactional relationships, listing what they've done for me and what they expect in return, rather than addressing the emotional impact of their actions. She suggested taking time to consider whether an immediate response would be productive. James and I have been using this time to establish our own routines and traditions as a married couple. We've started having Sunday brunches with a small group of friends, something we'd previously foregone in favor of family dinners at my parents' house. We're also planning our first holiday season as a married couple. Rather than trying to navigate complex family dynamics this year, we've decided to accept his brother's invitation to join their family's ski trip in December. The situation has prompted me to start individual therapy sessions with Dr. Mitchell, who specializes in family relationship dynamics. In our first session, we discussed how the current situation fits into broader patterns of family behavior. She observed that my role in the family has often been that of a peacekeeper, frequently adjusting my plans or needs to maintain harmony. We're working on strategies to maintain boundaries without completely severing relationships. My friend Lisa, who went through something similar with her family last year, recommended a book about managing family expectations while maintaining personal boundaries. The book has helped me understand that it is possible to love your family while still disagreeing with their behavior and choosing to maintain distance for your own well-being. The workplace has become an unexpected source of support. My supervisor noticed I seemed stressed and offered some flexibility with my schedule to accommodate therapy appointments. A few colleagues who've been through their own family challenges have shared their experiences and coping strategies during lunch breaks. This informal support network has been valuable in maintaining perspective. James's family has been consistently supportive without trying to insert themselves into the situation. His parents invite us over for dinner regularly, but never pressure us about family matters. His sister Kate checks in occasionally with simple texts asking how we're doing, offering support without judgment. Their approach has shown me what healthy family relationships can look like. Our friend circle has expanded somewhat unexpectedly through this situation. We've connected with other couples who've dealt with similar family dynamics through a local support group. These relationships have been refreshing because they're built on mutual understanding and respect for boundaries. We've started monthly dinner gatherings with a few couples from the group, creating our own small community. The practical aspects of married life have been a welcome distraction. We've been settling into our new routine, merging our households completely, and planning some home improvements. Having these normal everyday tasks to focus on helps maintain perspective when family drama threatens to become overwhelming. Looking ahead, we're working on establishing clear, consistent boundaries. This includes deciding how to handle upcoming family events, holiday gatherings, and eventually the arrival of my niece or nephew. Dr. Anderson has helped us draft guidelines for future family interactions that preserve our mental well-being while leaving room for potential reconciliation. The support from this community has been helpful in validating my feelings without encouraging complete family estrangement. Many of you shared similar experiences and how you navigated them, which has provided valuable perspective. I'm learning that it's possible to stand firm in your decisions while remaining open to genuine attempts at reconciliation. For now, we're focusing on building our life together and establishing healthy patterns for our marriage. We're maintaining limited contact with my family while leaving the door open for future conversations, provided they can respect our boundaries. The situation isn't resolved, but we're handling it in a way that feels sustainable for our mental health and our marriage. Update 2. After my last update, several significant developments have occurred that I think warrant sharing. The situation has evolved in ways I hadn't anticipated, revealing additional layers to the family dynamics at play. Zoe's gender reveal party took place yesterday afternoon at my parents' house. While I wasn't invited, which was expected, given the current circumstances, I received multiple videos and photos from relatives who attended. The event was extensively documented on social media, providing a clear picture of what transpired. During the celebration, Zoe made what appeared to be a carefully rehearsed speech about family unity and the importance of forgiveness, before revealing she's expecting twin girls. The timing and content of her speech seemed deliberately crafted to put pressure on me, particularly when she emphasized how the twins would need their aunt's love and support. What many of the attendees don't know is that Zoe sent me a private message an hour before the party. Her message was surprisingly candid, acknowledging that she had intentionally timed her pregnancy announcement to coincide with my wedding news. According to her message, she'd learned about her successful pregnancy test 3 weeks earlier, but held off announcing it. She admitted feeling threatened by the attention my wedding was receiving, especially since she had grown accustomed to being the family's primary focus due to her fertility struggles. The message was complex. While she expressed some regret about her actions, she also attempted to justify them by citing her hormones and emotional state. When I didn't immediately respond with unconditional forgiveness, she sent a follow-up message describing my lack of response as typical and suggesting that her initial apology was merely due to pregnancy hormones. This interaction provided insight into her pattern of behavior, acknowledging wrongdoing only to retract it when the desired response isn't received. Aunt Rachel has been actively working to facilitate better understanding within the family. She arranged a lunch meeting with my mother at a neutral location, hoping to help her gain perspective on the situation. According to Aunt Rachel's detailed account of their conversation, my mother revealed several underlying issues that have been influencing her behavior. The financial strain from the second mortgage and Zoe's ongoing medical expenses has been more severe than initially indicated. My parents have been using their retirement savings to cover some of the costs, creating significant stress about their financial future. My mother admitted that focusing entirely on Zoe's pregnancy has been easier than confronting their financial reality or acknowledging that they couldn't support both daughters as they'd hoped. This financial information has been corroborated by my uncle Steve, who works in banking. He recently helped my parents refinance their mortgage and expressed concern about their financial decisions. While he was discreet about specific details, he mentioned that their debt-to-income ratio has become concerning, largely due to the medical expenses and personal loans. The situation has also affected my parents' marriage. Aunt Rachel noted that my father has been picking up extra consulting work on weekends, something he's previously retired from, to help manage the mounting expenses. My mother has been considering returning to part-time work despite having retired 3 years ago. These financial pressures appear to be influencing their emotional responses and decision-making. After processing this information, I composed a carefully worded email to my parents. The message acknowledged their difficult situation while maintaining firm boundaries regarding their handling of the wedding circumstances. I specifically addressed their financial struggles, expressing understanding of their position while pointing out that honest communication would have been preferable to emotional manipulation. My father's response came within a few hours, which was unexpected as my mother usually handles family communications. His email was brief but notably different in tone from their previous messages. He acknowledged their poor handling of the situation and admitted that financial stress had affected their judgment. However, he still maintained that I should show more understanding of their position regarding Zoe's needs, suggesting a lingering inability to fully recognize the impact of their actions. The extended family's response to the situation continues to evolve. Several relatives who initially sided with my parents have reached out privately to express a more nuanced understanding of the situation. My cousin Mark, who works in healthcare, pointed out that while Zoe's pregnancy requires support, the family's extreme response isn't medically necessary and might actually be increasing her stress levels. On the professional front, I've been focusing on maintaining boundaries between my personal situation and work life. However, the circumstances have led to some unexpected professional developments. My experience handling this family conflict has improved my conflict resolution skills at work, particularly in managing difficult client relationships. My supervisor noted this improvement during our recent performance review, specifically mentioning my enhanced ability to maintain professional composure in challenging situations. James and I have found significant support through a local support group for couples dealing with family dynamics. The group, which meets bi-weekly, has provided valuable perspectives from others who have navigated similar situations. One couple shared their experience of maintaining limited contact with family for several years before eventually rebuilding the relationship on healthier terms. Their story has helped us understand that taking space doesn't necessarily mean permanent estrangement. We've also been actively working on building our own traditions and support network. Last weekend, we hosted a dinner party for 4 other couples from our support group, along with some of James's colleagues. The evening was refreshing. No underlying tensions, no walking on eggshells, just genuine connections with people who respect boundaries. We're planning to make these gatherings a monthly occurrence. My individual therapy sessions have been particularly enlightening. Dr. Mitchell has helped me identify long-standing patterns in my family dynamics that contributed to the current situation. Apparently, I've been functioning as the family mediator since childhood, often sacrificing my own needs to maintain peace. This pattern became so ingrained that I didn't recognize it as unusual until examining it in therapy. The sessions have also revealed how my family's communication style relies heavily on guilt and obligation rather than direct expression of needs and feelings. Dr. Mitchell has been helping me develop more effective communication strategies, particularly in expressing boundaries without becoming defensive or apologetic. James has been remarkably supportive while dealing with his own reactions to the situation. His parents' healthy family dynamic has provided a valuable contrast to my family's patterns. They demonstrate how family relationships can be supportive without being suffocating, and loving without being manipulative. Their perspective has been crucial in helping us establish healthy patterns in our marriage. We've made several practical decisions about moving forward. We're maintaining our distance from family events while focusing on building our own life together. This includes setting up our new home office, planning a small vacation for spring, and getting involved in our local community through volunteer work. These activities help maintain our focus on positive growth rather than family conflict. The situation has also influenced our financial planning. Given the insights into my parents' financial struggles, we've become more intentional about our own financial decisions. We've met with a financial advisor to develop a solid plan for our future, including setting boundaries around financial involvement with family members. This planning has helped us feel more secure in our ability to maintain independence while building a stable future. Our social circle has evolved in interesting ways. While some family friends have distanced themselves, we've developed stronger connections with people who understand and respect boundaries. Several couples from our support group have become close friends, and we found common ground with colleagues who've dealt with similar family situations. These relationships are refreshing because they're based on mutual respect rather than obligation. The workplace has become an unexpected source of stability. I've been transparent with my supervisor about attending therapy appointments, and she's been supportive of my need for work-life balance. Several colleagues have shared their own experiences with family boundaries, creating an informal support network that helps maintain professional perspective. James's family continues to provide an example of healthy family relationships. His parents regularly invite us for dinner but respect when we need time to ourselves. His sister checks in occasionally without pressure or judgment. Their consistent, respectful approach has helped us understand what we want our own family dynamics to look like in the future. Looking ahead, we're developing strategies for managing future family interactions, particularly around the twins' birth. Dr. Anderson has helped us draft guidelines for engagement that protect our mental health while leaving room for potential relationship repair. These guidelines include specific boundaries around communication, visits, and social media interaction. We're also preparing for the holiday season, our first as a married couple. Instead of trying to navigate complex family dynamics, we've accepted an invitation to join James's brother and his family at their cabin. This decision feels like a positive step towards creating our own traditions while maintaining connections with family members who respect our boundaries. The support group has been particularly helpful in providing practical strategies for maintaining boundaries during significant family events. Several members shared their experiences with setting limits during pregnancies and births in their families, offering useful perspectives on balancing family obligations with personal well-being. One particularly helpful suggestion came from a couple who created a structured communication schedule with their family during a similar situation. They set specific days and times for phone calls or visits, which help manage expectations and reduce anxiety on both sides. We're considering implementing a similar system once we're ready to resume more regular family contact. The workplace continues to provide a stable environment where I can focus on professional growth rather than family drama. I've taken on additional responsibilities in my department, and the structured environment helps maintain perspective on other aspects of life. Several colleagues have been valuable friends, offering support without getting overly involved in the situation. Our local community involvement has expanded through volunteer work at a nearby community centre. This engagement has helped us develop connections outside of family and work circles, providing a broader perspective on what constitutes meaningful relationships. The volunteer coordinator, who has experience with family counseling, has offered valuable insights into maintaining boundaries while keeping doors open for future reconciliation. Update 3. It's been a week since my last update, and several significant developments have occurred that warrant sharing. The situation has evolved in unexpected ways, leading to what appears to be a turning point in our family dynamics. My mother came to my workplace during lunch 2 days ago. Initially, I was concerned that this might create an uncomfortable situation, but her approach was notably different from our recent interactions. She had just come from Zoe's prenatal appointment where they'd experienced a brief scare with the twins' heartbeats. While everything turned out to be fine, the incident apparently triggered some reflection on her part. We went to a nearby cafe where she delivered what seemed to be a genuine apology. Unlike previous attempts at reconciliation, this one didn't include justifications or attempts to explain their behavior. She acknowledged their disproportionate response to my wedding plans and expressed regret about how they'd handled the situation. During our conversation, she revealed that Zoe had finally admitted to them about intentionally timing her pregnancy announcement to coincide with my wedding news. The disclosure apparently led to some serious family discussions. My mother acknowledged that they had enabled certain behaviors over the years out of guilt about Zoe's fertility struggles, but recent events had made them consider this pattern. Later that evening, my father called. His tone was noticeably different from recent interactions. He explained that they've scheduled appointments with a family counselor to work on their relationships with both daughters. The counselor apparently specializes in family dynamics involving adult children. They've committed to attending regular sessions to address the patterns that led to our current situation. Zoe's approach to reconciliation has taken a more public route. She posted a lengthy social media update acknowledging her role in the wedding. While I appreciate the gesture of public accountability, I'm maintaining a cautious approach to rebuilding our relationship. Years of established patterns don't change overnight, regardless of public statements. James and I have several discussions about how to proceed. We've decided to accept their efforts at reconciliation while maintaining clear boundaries. This includes attending family gatherings, but having pre-established signals for when we need to leave if old patterns emerge. We're continuing our therapy sessions to ensure we handle this transition in a healthy way. The process has notably strengthened our marriage. We've developed better communication strategies and learned to present a united front when dealing with family challenges. Our therapist noted that couples who successfully navigate family conflicts often emerge with stronger relationships, provided they maintain clear boundaries and open communication. Riley's situation has also seen positive development. She's completed the paperwork to transfer to her original choice of university next semester. My parents' reaction to her decision has been markedly different from their previous stance. They've offered support without attempting to change her mind, suggesting they're making genuine efforts to modify their behavior. Dr. Anderson has helped us develop a structured approach to rebuilding family relationships. This includes 1. Starting with time-limited interactions in neutral locations. 2. Maintaining clear communication about our boundaries and expectations. 3. Having exit strategies for situations that become uncomfortable. 4. Scheduling regular check-ins with each other to assess how we're feeling about the progress. 5. Continuing therapy to process any issues that arise. We've implemented some of these strategies already. Last weekend, we met my parents for lunch at a restaurant. a neutral location with a natural time limit. The conversation remained civil, focusing on general topics rather than diving into past conflicts. When Zoe came up in conversation, my parents seemed more aware of maintaining balanced attention to both daughters' lives. The broader family dynamics have also shown signs of change. Several relatives who previously pressed us to keep the peace have acknowledged that the situation needed addressing. My Aunt Rachel reports that family gatherings have become more balanced, with less focus on Zoe's pregnancy and more interest in other family members' lives. Our support group continues to provide valuable perspective. One couple shared how they successfully reintegrated with family after a similar conflict, emphasizing the importance of maintaining boundaries even as relationships improve. This experience has helped us develop realistic expectations for the reconciliation process. James's family has maintained their supportive but neutral stance. His parents continue to provide an example of healthy family relationships, demonstrating how to show care without becoming enmeshed in others' difficulties. Their approach has been particularly helpful as we navigate rebuilding relationships with my family. The workplace has remained a stable environment throughout these changes. My supervisor and colleagues have noticed my improved focus, though I'm maintaining professional boundaries about sharing personal details. The separation between work and family life has helped maintain perspective during this transition period. We're approaching the holiday season with a balanced plan. Rather than immediately returning to previous family traditions, we're creating a hybrid approach. We'll attend my family's Christmas Eve gathering, but maintain our plans for Christmas Day with James's family. This arrangement allows us to participate in family events while preserving our independence. The financial aspects of the situation have also been development. My parents have met with a financial advisor to develop a more sustainable approach to managing their resources. While they haven't shared specific details, they've mentioned making changes to ensure they can support both daughters appropriately without compromising their retirement security. Zoe's pregnancy continues to progress well, and we've had some productive conversations about future aunt-niece relationships. We're working with our therapist to establish healthy boundaries regarding the twins' arrival, including clear guidelines about hospital visits and early bonding time. Our local community involvement has expanded during this period. We've joined a neighborhood committee and continued our volunteer work, building connections outside the family sphere. These activities provide fulfillment and perspective, helping maintain balance as we navigate family relationships. The reconciliation process has revealed some interesting patterns in our extended family. Several cousins have shared similar experiences with family pressure and expectations, leading to broader discussions about changing generational patterns. There's growing recognition that maintaining healthy boundaries doesn't equate to rejecting family connections. Looking ahead, we've established some key principles for moving forward. 1. Maintaining our therapy appointments to process ongoing developments. 2. Continuing our independent social activities and friendships. 3. Participating in family events while preserving our boundaries. 4. Supporting Zoe's pregnancy journey without compromising our own needs. 5. Building new traditions while selectively incorporating family customs. The situation has provided valuable lessons about family dynamics, boundary setting, and relationship management. While the path forward requires continued attention and effort, the current direction seems sustainable and healthy for all involved. Thank you to this community for your support throughout this journey. Your insights and shared experiences have been instrumental in navigating these challenges. While our situation continues to evolve, we're cautiously optimistic about the future of our family relationships. Stay tuned for more stories from Our Girl Relationships.